Hello everybody and welcome back to Mounties Midweek. I'm Drew Patrick. On today's show, we review road trips from the baseball and softball teams, and we talk early NCAA Provisional marks with Hunter Watkins. Plus, we are on to round 2 of Play of the Winter. The track and field team took part in the Washington and Lee Carnival in Lexington, Virginia to open the outdoor season this past weekend. In day 1, the distance runners set the tone. Lindsey Payne hit a new PR in the 1500 meter run with a PSAC qualifying time of 4:55.27, and Ryan Morissette and Jordan Holmes also had great showings in the 1500 with times of 4:33.52 and 4:18.15 respectively, with the former being a PR for Morissette. Kenzie Jones started her season out right with a 5K time of 19:20.38, finishing 7th, and Ryan Clifford continued what has been just an outstanding year for the senior with a 5K PR of 15:10.66, which won him the race and hit a PSAC qualifying mark. The following day, Clifford once again won his race and hit a PSAC qualifying mark, this time in the 3K steeplechase with a time of 9:34.34. Junior Hunter Watkins stole the show in the men's javelin. His best throw went 59.7 meters, which is a PSAC qualifying and an NCAA Provisional mark. Other Mountie standouts included Jenny Bellafleur finishing 4th in the 100-meter dash, Caden Fisher with a 17:22 in the 110-meter hurdles, and Nick Aukenbaugh notching a PSAC qualifying time and second-place finish in the 400-meter hurdles. Mansfield will continue its outdoor slate by traveling to Richmond, Virginia for the Fred Hardy Invitational on March 28th. Another group of Mountaineers will also travel to the Raleigh Relays hosted by NC State on March 29th and 30th. The baseball team hit the road for 3 games against Chestnut Hill. Their first game, Saturday evening, Evan McAndrew was dealing. He pitched 7 strong innings, getting 8 strikeouts and only allowing a single earned run. The Mounties win 3-1. McAndrew improves to 2-1 on the year, and Bryce Zaprzinski collects his first save on the year. The next day, they return to the Diamond for 2 more games with the Griffins. In the first, Mansfield got off to a quick start, leading 3-0 after 1 inning, but a big 3rd inning for Chestnut Hill flipped the game, and the Griffins got the win by a score of 5-3. In the second game of the day, Chestnut Hill had a monster first inning, helped by some troubles of the Mansfield defense, and they never looked back. They took that game by a score of 10-3. Mansfield falls to 3-7 on the year, but the Mountaineers are on the road next at Westchester on Friday, but they host the Golden Rams for their home opener on Saturday, March 23rd. Mansfield softball had 2 games at Goldie Beacom on St. Patrick's Day. Well, the luck of the Irish was not with the Mountaineers for that first game. Back and forth battle all game long. Mansfield tied it up at the top of the 7th, but the Lightning walk it off in the bottom half of the inning and steal the first game by a score of 7-6. Alexis Eastling was saddled with the loss. That's her first collegiate loss of her career. Game 2, and the Lightning struck again in the late inning, getting 7 runs in the 6th inning and winning by a score of 9-1. The Mountaineers try to steer things back on track this week as they travel to Millersville on Saturday for PSAC crossover play. Now let's take a look at what is coming up this week for Mountaineer Athletics. Do not go anywhere. Sports Talk is on the other side of the break.
Community, close-knit, it's beautiful. Now, as we join UPMC, it just opens a whole new world.
Together, UPMC and Susquehanna Health are bringing life-changing medicine to North Central Pennsylvania.
UPMC brings extraordinary innovation to virtually every aspect of the work we do.
Exchanging ideas, sharing research, it's a tremendous opportunity to learn in real time with world-class experts.
Changing lives every day. UPMC Susquehanna.
Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference.
Oh, what a play!
18 universities.
How competitive is this?
23 championships.
It's over. We have new PSAC champs.
7,100 student athletes. Make the PSAC yours.
My PSAC is passion.
My PSAC is pride.
PSAC is Pennsylvania.
Passion, pride, Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference.
From court to court and lane to lane, under the lights or under the sun, no one delivers Division II sports like NCAA.com. The center of D2 is inside the NCAA.com hub, with exclusive highlights of every sport and live broadcasts of every Division II championship found nowhere else. Make NCAA.com yours, the home of Division II college sports.
Welcome back in. Now let's talk track and field as we have Hunter Watkins joining us here. Hunter, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
So this past weekend, the outdoor season gets started, and what a way to start out with a bang there. PSAC Provisional, NCAA Provisional. What did you see in the JAV this week?
I'm very happy. Right off the bat, it's the beginning of outdoor season. It's always it's nerve-wracking. It's you don't know what you're to expect. You don't know what injuries that can come. You don't know where you're at. So I'm very happy to go down there and compete and hit those marks that I needed to hit. And it was not 110% effort. Coach Mack and Coach Roll both said, don't pull anything, don't force anything. We'll come down. It's just the beginning where we're looking into May. We're not looking into the Washington and Lee meet. So I was very happy to hit those two marks, and then I'm happy where I'm at with that 59 meters.
Especially being able to hit those marks so early, and you said not going full. How much confidence does that give you going forward and having the whole season to continue?
It helps my confidence much more than usual. Last year, I did start the season with a 63-meter throw, but going down to Myrtle Beach and then just enforcing a throw out there. So I'm a little bit more relaxed this year. I overlooked the season. I came into this meet and I was like, oh wow. But I was on the runway. I was like, oh, it's time to start doing something. But no, the confidence level I have is high. I have high hopes for this season. I'm coming into that 59 meters as like my average last year. I have high hopes, and then it'll just climb from here.
You come into this pretty unique in terms of on the track and field team, because there's no JAV for indoor track. So you're kind of coming at it without the preparation season for the outdoor. So what are the things you have to do to train and keep everything going and keep the muscle memory and everything there?
Just staying focused. The indoor season, I love it. I love going. I love watching people compete. I love going to Edinburgh. I love the indoor meet. PSACs, they do a great job there. But it is kind of teasing on a jab thrower, because you see everyone competing, everyone advancing, and everyone doing the best they can, and you're just kind of sitting back and training for, I wouldn't say nothing, but training, and you don't get to compete each weekend. But just staying focused. You know the outdoor season's coming up. You know that you're watching other athletes. It gives me the confidence that I need to go out there and compete. And it just, and just repetition. KFC has a great facility for what we use. We have the curtains, put down the curtains. We have indoor javelins that we throw right up against the curtains. They're not exactly the same. They're a little shorter, but they're weighted. The balance between them is very similar to a normal jav. So just going into KFC and then getting that muscle memory of the form and stuff. And then we were able to get outside once before we went down to Washington and Lee. But like I said, with Pennsylvania weather, it's hard to go out there. You get 4 seasons in a day almost. So it's, I mean, it's hard going through the indoor season and just watching people compete and not be able to throw a jav. But I mean, staying focused and just repetition in KFC, it really does help.
So what is the key for the javelin and for you in that event to really prepare, and when you can't be outside like you said, and what are the little things then you have to focus on when you can't get the full repetition outside? What are the little things you have to focus on?
It's just down to the detail and form. Instead of working on my release that day, I'll be working on my footwork. Javelin for me it's a throw right from the feet all the way up to your hand. I mean, it's not just a stand, throw, arm, and a big body throw it throw it as hard as you can. It's a throw that starts from the base of your feet and it just generates power. So there's so many minor details that you can work on without even touching a jav. So it's just hip mobility for me. Just my footwork is one big thing that I'm gonna have to work on this year, and just stretch reflex and things. So there's a lot of little detail about the javelin throw that we can focus on without even holding a javelin. So those things, that's what we focus on during the winter. It's just the small things. And then when we do able to get outside, that's when I can get on a runway and get my spikes on and I can actually release. So then I see where we're at. But those small little details of just the footworks, the hip works, and then the shoulders, just trying to keep my shoulders stretched out and stuff. That's the small things you usually work on during the winter and coming into the spring season.
So you're the reigning PSAC champ in the javelin. Do you feel any pressure with that, or you try to completely block out what happened the year before?
A little bit of both. Going in, the PSAC has a great javelin competition. I mean, the guys around me, they're great guys. We've traveled down to nationals once and twice together, and some of the guys that I've traveled with my freshman year, they graduated, but we still keep in touch. So they're great guys. They're great competition. But coming in as the previous champion, it does put some pressure on to see where I'm going to be at. I see stats coming up as like Lock Haven through this number, Slippery Rock through this number, Shippensburg, and when it is higher, it hits you. You're like, okay, well now I got to compete. But just that little bit of competition, it makes me even strive a little bit more. We're all competing to outthrow each other, but it's easy to handle that stress.
Do you focus on that, or do you try not to look at where people are, or do you like that for the competition?
I kind of like it. When I see competition throwing at a certain number, it kind of makes me strive. Like, okay, I've thrown that before, or I'm gonna try and throw that. At the same time, I do also try and avoid it. It's kind of a happy medium. Whereas if I'm looking at numbers and stressing about it, then sometimes it just goes to your head, and you're like, I'm not gonna throw that ever, or things like that. But usually, I don't mind it, and I don't think it affects me. Like I said, I like those guys that I throw against, so it's like, usually when I see them doing something successful, I get happy, and I'm like, oh, good for them, now I'll try and beat you.
So how important is the mental aspect of this? Because everyone sees, I mean, the physical things, we talked about the physical aspects of it, but how much of the mental aspect is in it, especially at a meet with a lot of people? You're watching the numbers, but also want to get yours. How important is the mental side of this?
Oh, it's huge. I think mentality is a huge thing in sports. No matter what sports, basketball, baseball, soccer, any sport, mentality is huge, especially for javelin throw. You're on the runway and it's only you out there. You're on the spot, everyone's looking at you, and then you're thinking through your head, is my footwork gonna work out? Am I gonna just throw it with my arm? Am I gonna have a good stretch reflex? And so there's a ton of things going through your head, and usually what I do is I just get on the runway and I just take a deep breath, and everything clears my mind. So whatever I throw is what I throw, but mentality is big. You just have to kind of flush out what's going through your head, even with the other competitions. If you hear someone throwing, last year when we went to Myrtle Beach, there was a guy over 70 meters. So hearing the number 70 in your head, and then if it gets in my head, I'm like, oh well, I want to push for that number. If you think about that too much, you're just gonna throw too hard, and you're just gonna either pull something or. your form's not going to be 100%. So mentality is huge. When you're on the runway, it's a lot of pressure, but usually it just flushes out. You just take a deep breath, think about one or two things on your form, and just throw the stick.
So this early season, what are your focuses early in the season before you get to all the championship meets? What is your primary thing that you want to pay attention to early in the season?
Just staying healthy. If I had to pinpoint one thing, it's just staying healthy. We have a good spread out meets at the beginning of the year to not overdo it, to not, as like Coach Mack and I were talking, to say that we're prepping for May. I mean, that's where I've already hit those marks now for sure. I'm definitely going to PSAC championships. I'm on the list for nationals, but as more people come to throw, it'll go further down. So as I improve my throw, that's always a catching. Mouse and catch game, whatever you want to call it. You never know where you're going to land, but we're prepping for that meet in May of actually here. So the PSA Championship. So just staying healthy, focusing on the little details, not overdoing it, not pressuring myself too much, and just throwing the thing. Just.
And how much of a benefit will that be? The fact that the PSAC championships are here at Mansfield, it's home field advantage, or how much of a factor? Obviously, we don't want you looking too far ahead, but will that be, do you think?
I don't think it's going to be much of a factor. Personally, I like traveling, but I mean, it will help out that we don't have to travel 6 or 7 hours somewhere, so we're not on a bus ride traveling, and it just doesn't tease your body like that. So it'll be nice being here, and especially if family, like my family, they're not able to come to some meets because of work and stuff, but since it's such a close meet for them, they're able to come and watch me compete. For the home field advantage, I think it does kind of help. I mean, I know the runway, I know the field, I know where the low spots are, and I mean, it's a nice throwing facility that we have here, and I think it's going to be the perfect spot to have the PSAC championship. So,
and then let's finish off with overall, what are your goals for this year?
So I haven't really every year I have a number in my head, and sometimes I hit that, sometimes I don't. I've had numbers in my head since I was 8 years old thinking about javelin. So this year I want to get to the champion. I want to be PSAC champion. I want to win that, and then I do want to go down to nationals, and I want to get All-American. So wherever the throw gets me, if a 65 gets me there, if a 70 gets me there, if a 75 gets me there, I can just keep going up. But which would be the ultimate goal, to keep throwing higher. But whatever gets me to those meets and gets me to an All-American that's where I want to be.
Well, Hunter, best of luck this year, and thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Mounties Midweek rolls on after this. Do not go anywhere.
As I've gone through school, I've been trying to pay off my tuition as I go, and it wouldn't have been possible without the help of the Mansfield Foundation.
I mean, the Mansfield Foundation already helped me a lot. As of right now, I don't have any school debt whatsoever, and I know the Mansfield Foundation has definitely helped with all the scholarships that I've received over the years for that.
The Mansfield Foundation has helped me out several times throughout my college career. They have helped keep my finances intact.
If you have any sort of instincts, you can get a feel of good people and bad people. Like, the people at the foundation are as straightforward as they come.
It's all part of Mother Nature's perfect blend, the keystone of the Keystone State. Visit Potter Tioga, a 2-county scenic outdoor haven conveniently located, yet worlds apart.
With 10 state parks, 2 federal parks, and over 400,000 acres of state forest land, outdoor recreation certainly does live here, offering hiking, biking, horseback riding, ATV trails, hunting, snowmobiling, cross-country skiing, and so much more.
Close to many urban areas, but far away from the hustle and bustle, you'll feel like you've found a hidden corner of the East Coast where you can experience world-class, authentic outdoor adventure. Whether it's a family outing, a personal challenge, or even a leisurely walk, it all takes on a new perspective in these spectacular surroundings.
Follow our gurus through the Step Outdoor series at visitpottertioga.com and start planning your adventures today.
Welcome back here to Mounties Midweek. Let's talk baseball now, as we have head coach Harry Hilson with us. And Coach, thanks so much for stopping by.
No problem.
So we had not had a chance to speak about the break and the spring break and the things that had happened over spring break. So real quickly, what were some of the things that really stood out to you over that break period?
Well, I think the thing is we were confident our pitching was going to be very strong, and that's been very strong. We've got some top-end guys that should be able to beat some of the guys in the conference, which is real good. Our defense has been strong. We're real young this year. We've got 16 new players and 12 freshmen, and we're playing a lot of freshmen. A lot of new guys in the starting lineup, only 2 returning guys. So, we're playing it day by day, getting a little bit better each day, and working the kinks out. But we're excited to be back in Mansfield. We played 10 games so far. I haven't played a home game yet, so we're excited to play this weekend against Westchester.
Yeah, absolutely. This past weekend, Chestnut Hill, 2 games. Back up in Pennsylvania, so you're starting to get closer to home with that game. Let's talk about that first game. It was a victory and a great pitching performance from a couple of your pitchers, Evan McAndrew and Bryce Zaprzinski. What did you see from those 2 in that game?
Well, both those guys did an outstanding job, kept Chestnut Hill off pace. McAndrew struck out 7, and Zaprzinski came in and closed the door. We had some good situational hitting. Which was real important, and things went real well for us. I mean, Chestnut Hill's a very good ball club, and we played strong competition so far. We kind of ran into a buzzsaw the next day, but that's going to happen. We just want to keep our heads above water and keep moving in the right direction.
Yeah, so what is your coaching philosophy? You mentioned that second game. Sunday, of course, the game got away from you. So what do you have to do, and what do you say to your group of guys to kind of get that one out of their head, to get that bad taste out of their mouth?
Well, if you play baseball, you have to have a short memory. And in baseball, you win a lot of games and you lose a lot of games. And, the object is to obviously win more than you lose. So you just got to stay after it and keep working. And, like I said, a lot of things going on are just our guys getting experience, putting pieces of the puzzle together, and we feel real good about that at this point in time going into conference play.
And speaking of that, going into conference play, Westchester this weekend, that's a really good team to start in the conference with. What do you expect from that group?
Well, Westchester's probably the best in the conference, so I think we're going to find out what we're made of this weekend, and hopefully have a good weekend, and start moving things the way we need to move, to make the conference playoffs.
And being able to then return, play at home, how big of a factor do you think that'll be? Especially because early on in the season, you haven't really had a lot of time or maybe as much time as you would have wanted on the field?
Well, I think we're getting out on the field a lot more now. And, it's always nice to play home. I mean, you play all those early season games and you're a long way from home and, you're not sleeping in your own bed. And, fans will be out and hopefully everybody's out there in the long ball lounge on Saturday to see this version of the 2019 Mounties.
So, of course, along with the game, there's also something extra that you guys are doing before the game.
Well, we've got a preseason opening day clinic, and we've had this for a few years, and players come out, get a little workout in for a couple hours before the game, have lunch, and then they'll take the field with the players right before the national anthem, and they get to stick around and watch the game. So we're hoping to see a lot of little leaguers out this Saturday morning. Weather looks good. It's going to be a little chilly, but it's baseball season.
And when you get to see a lot of these young kids who want to play baseball, get to see this college team, this university team, and get to work with them, what is the benefit to the kids in this community?
Well, it's a win-win for everybody. It's good for our program, gets people out to the ballpark, gets some interaction with our guys, with little leaguers, and it hasn't been that many years since they were in their shoes, and they remember when they're in Little League, and just a chance for us to give back and bond with the community a little bit to start the season up here at Shady Field.
Well, Coach, best of luck this weekend, and thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
And Mounties Midweek rolls on after this. Do not go anywhere.
Part of Mother Nature's perfect blend, the keystone of the Keystone State. Visit Potter Tioga, a 2-county scenic outdoor haven conveniently located, yet worlds apart.
With 10 state parks, 2 federal parks, and over 400,000 acres of state forest land, outdoor recreation certainly does live here, offering hiking, biking, horseback riding, ATV trails, hunting, snowmobiling, cross-country skiing, and so much more.
Close to many urban areas, but far away from the hustle and bustle, you'll feel like you've found a hidden corner of the East Coast where you can experience world-class, authentic outdoor adventure. Whether it's a family outing, a personal challenge, or even a leisurely walk, it all takes on a new perspective in these spectacular surroundings.
Follow our gurus through the Step Outdoor series at visitpottertioga.com and start planning your adventures today.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
Under the lights or under the sun, No one delivers Division II sports like NCAA.com. The center of D2 is inside the NCAA.com hub, with exclusive highlights of every sport and live broadcasts of every Division II championship found nowhere else. Make NCAA.com yours, the home of Division II college sports.
Welcome back here to Mounties Midweek. Let's talk baseball as we have Evan McAndrew and Cody Fitzgerald here with me. Thank you guys both so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having us.
So I didn't get a chance to talk with you two about the break, so let's go back a couple weeks. Over the break, a whole week to really focus on the baseball, and early in the season, what were some of your big takeaways from that week?
Being able to get down warm weather, North Carolina, main part. Getting able to play some more baseball games. We only had 2 the first weekend. Didn't have to get that third one in. Play good competition. Also, the extending game we had. Get a little extra baseball on us. But other than that,
get outside.
Yeah.
Outside the gym.
And your first experience with college baseball there, what was that like to just get on and see what the competition is going to be at the next level?
The competition's definitely at another level. But first game, obviously a little bit nervous, but first pitch, you're here for a reason, and as soon as you start playing, that all just goes out the window.
And so what are your focuses early on in the season? What are some of the things you really want to work on before you get into conference play?
Say, keeping pitch counts low for as a pitcher standpoint. Getting good outings in situations where you need to strike a guy out or get a ground ball double play. Make sure you focus on that. Good pitches and good counts.
Just learning situations and being a player of the game.
And so Chestnut Hill this past weekend, starting to move a little more north, actually in the state of Pennsylvania, which is nice to be back. At a win there, a fantastic outing for you. What worked for you there on the mound?
Commanding my fastball in and out, mixing in my cutter, curveball, deep in counts, have them off balance. First pitch strikes, big.
And then Cody, in the field and with the bat, what were some of the things that worked with the team to get that win?
Not getting behind in the count when we're on the plate, being aggressive, not necessarily watching that first pitch strike every single time. And in the field, just playing our game, not making the errors, and that's it.
And how much does it make your job easier when you know that you have a solid group behind you?
Oh, it makes it a lot easier. Knowing that I don't have to strike every kid out, it's great. Because I know if I can get a ground out, pop out, they're going to be there to catch it or field it.
And then, of course, the next day, that one didn't go your way, but what do you have to do? And even I can say theoretically, a game doesn't go the way that you want it to. What do you have to do to have that short-term memory and get that loss out of your brain to focus on the next one?
As a senior, I've been here 4 years, doubleheaders on the weekends from conference play. That first game may not go the way you want, but you still got to come out and play that second game or come out the second day, because game 3 and 4 of a weekend is just as big as game 1.
And it sounds cliche, but just not learning from your mistakes and then taking that into the next game and not really dragging yourself down because of that stuff.
So you mentioned you're a senior, you have the pitching staff is very experienced with this group. How big of an impact is that going to be in the year that you guys have the experience and know what you're facing in this conference?
If we're going to have a successful season, good pitching, good defense, 2-1, 3-2 ball games are going to be our biggest success this year.
And then Cody, kind of the opposite. It's still a pretty young team in the field, including yourself. How has this senior group helped you guys kind of get into the feel of things and how things are supposed to go here at Mansfield?
Just helping us along, helping us through practice, if we're doing something wrong, telling us what we're doing wrong, why it's wrong, and how to fix it. They've been great leaders for us so far.
So the conference first matchup this weekend, well, you don't start off easy, that's for sure. Westchester, a really tough team. What do you expect from that team and in this matchup?
I expect a lot of good bats. I think they're 10th in the nation right now, so they're going to be aggressive at the plate, and I know they're not going to swing outside the zone much, so keeping pitches right in the corners, hitting spots, trying to win a close ball game.
And what are you expecting from this game?
Honestly, never seen Westchester play, so don't know what much to expect, but I know they're a good team and know that we got to come ready to play.
And one of those games, of course, weather permitting, because the weather here never cooperates as much as we want it to. But scheduled for the home game this week, to be able to be back on our field for the first time and to be back, what do you expect and how much of a benefit will that be?
Through the last 3 years here at home, we've always been better at home than we have been away. Just like the fan base and the crowd in our favor is big. We also play here at Shea all the time at practice, so we know how to play here because it's way different. The wind blows out, got to keep the ball down. There's going to be a lot of home runs.
Like you said, we practice here, so I'm excited to actually get to play on the home field.
And also with this home series, you're going to have the opening day clinic. How much of a benefit, and really the fact that you've been able to help the community and be out with a lot of these kids, has that been for you for these years?
Honestly, we do a lot of camps and clinics throughout the fall, even the summer. It's nice to see know when I was young, I was going to these camps and how much they helped me out as a kid, and how I love the game today. So it's nice to give back.
Well, thank you both so much for stopping by here. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And Mounties Midweek, it rolls along right after this. Do not go anywhere.
Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference.
Oh, what a play!
18 universities.
How competitive is this?
23 championships.
It's over. We have new PSAC champs.
7,100 student athletes. Make the PSAC yours.
My PSAC is passion.
My PSAC is pride.
PSAC is Pennsylvania.
Passion, pride, Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference.
Part of Mother Nature's perfect blend, the keystone of the Keystone State. Visit Potter Tioga, a 2-county scenic outdoor haven conveniently located, yet worlds apart. A place where you can kick back, unwind, and forget about the pressures of life. Disconnect and reconnect with your friends, family, or even yourself while surrounded by nature's beauty. So start planning your adventures today at visitpottertioga.com.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
Play of the winner moves on to the second round, and we are down to a fantastic four. The first matchup is a battle of records. Mia Leonard gets the block here. That block set the single season record, and she was excellent in that game. Had 9 blocks in that game, and that was the 9th coming in the late seconds. And it was funny, Coach Whitling found out that she was only 1 away from this block and wanted her to get this record at home, so put her back in the game late, and she delivered, got that block. She finished with 73 blocks on the year. As I mentioned again, that is the single season record for Mia Leonard. That play is against another record, but a personal record this time. Quincy Amabile in Boston, running the 5K, finishes with a time of 15:09:53, which is a 50-second PR, folks, and that is ridiculous. That's almost 3/4 of the track. Like, that is phenomenal. So which one of these records is the better play? Quincy Amabile's 50-second PR or Mia Leonard's block that set the single season record? You vote on Twitter for which one is moving on. On the other side of the bracket, it's a battle between men's basketball teammates. We start Taylor Sweeney against Bloomsburg. Bloomsburg had just tied it up when they get it to him, and yes, with the 3. He was fantastic in that game, had 16 points and 5 blocks to go along in that game. Mansfield got the PSAC win in dramatic fashion, helped by that Taylor Sweeney 3-point. That play is against Eli Alvin. Really, 4-on-1. He was the only one standing there at the free throw line. Shot misses, but he gets his own rebound and stalls just enough to find the open Keith Farmer for the layup. And Eli Alvin, this game against Roberts Wesleyan, he went off. Had 18 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and a block. He was phenomenal, and no play was better than that one there. You vote Taylor Sweeney, Eli Alvin. Which play gets the nod to head to the finals of Play of the Winner? All voting is done on Twitter at Mountie All Access. That's going to do it for us, folks. To stay up to date on all things Mountaineer Athletics, head over to GoMounties.com. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week.